Seamaster 2019 ITTF World Tour German Open. Halbfinale im Herren-Einzel. Wir begrüßen auf dem Center Court auf Hongkong die Nummer 6 der Welt. Hier ist Chunting.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ITTF Seamaster 2018 World Tour Platinum German Open, coming to you live from Bremen, Germany. I'm your commentator, Adam Bobrow, and that right there is the dragon, the captain, the dictator, Ma Long. He's world number 9 currently, but regarded as many as the best in the world. He's the most unbeaten player on the planet for quite some time, and Wang Chunting contributes to that statistic, having never beaten him before. Not for lack of attempts. They've had 5 matches, and Ma Long has won all 5 of them. So it's always great to have a tournament with Ma Long involved. He's back here and back in shape. Yesterday, last night, the last match of the night, devastating the crowd, pulling off some magic against the magic man himself, Timo Boll. And here's an updated list of the world standings, with Ugo Calderano in 2nd and Xu Xin in 3rd. But all trailing way behind Fan Zhendong with 750 points. Go to ITTF.com to check that out. Here's who's left in the tournament. Germany's own Patrick Franziska, a bit of a surprise for the Germans, considering they had top seed Dmitry Ovcharov, who pulled out due to injury. Timo Boll, world ranked number 1. Gert Selig, our umpire, who also helped umpire me versus Timo Boll's right hand and Ask a Pro Anything. And from Russia, here's Elena Semenova, assistant umpire. So Wang Chunting, 26 years old, currently world ranked number 6, 3 spots in front of Ma Long. As Roccadino gets into the centerfold here, the world rankings are more an indicator of how players have been performing on the world tour in the last 12 months. Lu Guozheng there, a hero for China. Ma Long's personal coach now. Again, a lot of questions about who's coaching Ma Long. There's the answer for you. Lu Guozheng has been a lot of coaching shift within the Chinese National Association. On the other side, Chan Konghua, or Chan Konghua, depending on which dialect you're using in Hong Kong, a place where Cantonese is spoken, English and Mandarin. Wang Chunting speaking all 3. Wang Chunting, one of the top 2 pen holders in the world. By world ranking, only 1 spot behind the top pen holder, Xu Xin, who you'll have a chance to see in the next match. In terms of analyzing Ma Long's game this tournament, he's dominant. That's always been the case. Timo Boll had quite a chance against him last night, from up 9-4 and 10-5, 2 games in a row, and not able to take. It's very tough, but it's not like he's playing any old player. Playing Ma Long, who could be at the peak of his game. From 2015 until now, has suffered very few losses. Anyone who's beaten Ma Long has been remembered for it. Jung Sang-un from Korea. And it's strange seeing Ma Long as the 5th seed in any tournament. Tough to imagine that in the next few years of his life, he will be anything less than the top 2 or 3 seeds. I think by the end of the year, he should be back up either at world number 1 or maybe world number 2, but much higher in the world rankings. We will see. It sort of depends on how Fan Zhendong plays against him and how much participation we see. Again, Ma Long's wrist has been bothering him ever since 2012 around the Olympic Games. And he's managed to hold it off, stay fit, have little trouble with that wrist, but occasionally he needs to rest it, acts up a little bit. Speaking of wrist action, the pen holder is going to have more wrist action. Ma Long making sure the rubber is firmly glued down. Fresh sheets of rubber, sometimes every day for the tournaments. World-class players changing their rubber very often during the tournament. Want to make sure they have the cleanest grip. Little wear on the top sheet of rubber. Again, they are more sensitive to the top sheet and the condition of the rubber and the equipment than anybody in the world. Guess that's what it means to be the best, noticing these subtle differences depending on your equipment to the most fine-tuned degree. Tell you a little bit about how these players got here. You heard about Ma Long, Timo Boll last night, getting some revenge for Lin Gaoyuan. Let's see here. Looking down, Wang Chunting beating Jung Sang-un, Ma Long's defeater. So taking out one threat for Ma Long early on. After that win, 4-2, Wang Chunting beat Lee Song-soo from Korea. So 2 Koreans in a row. Lee Song-soo, the bronze medalist from Dusseldorf 2017, the World Championships. And then yesterday, the only player who could beat Matthias Carlsen. Wang Chunting in incredible form. Ma Long on the other side, beating Maharu Yoshimura 4-0. And then Jun Mizutani, this week's Ask a Pro Anything player, 4-0 again. So not a game dropped before Timo Boll. Quality flip, but tough to fool Ma Long. He's already there in position to counter it back to the open side of the table, cross court. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen players dump the ball into the net after Ma Long pushes. Very subtle in his contact, but still heavy rotation. And Ma Long hasn't pulled out the big guns yet, hasn't had to yet. Tight in near the table, sort of waiting for the big opening, waiting to see if Wang Chunting takes the first attack. Or at least the first aggressive, bold attack that costs him positioning and footwork. Ambitious shot. We've seen Ma Long make these before. This is one thing Timo Boll did very well yesterday, was keep the ball short. Second bounce on the table, although the most memorable one was when Ma Long did that to steal the game. I think it was game 4. Here we go, a little bit wider, a little bit faster. Wang Chunting with his second point. Takes both of his serves there coming into the first towel break. Tightens up the game. There's Chan Kong-hwa, legendary coach and player from Hong Kong. Still looking quite comfortable back there. Ma Long just can give a good 75%, stay on top of the bounce. The threat of even his 75% backhand is enough to win most rallies against most players. And as solid as the touch is from Wang Chunting over the table, I think he's really going to have to find ways to get aggressive. Use the backhand over the table. Flip deep to the backhand or the middle. Follow up with a big attack. Oh, Ma Long just whipping that arm around, turning at the waist, corner to corner. Look at that. Side swiping forehand. The bigger the lead, the more comfort and creativity we get out of Ma Long. More confidence. Backhand here, the counter. Looked like a strobe light went off overhead for a minute. Yeah. Oh. I don't know if something fell or not. Definitely worth paying attention to. I think you might have seen that flash on court. They were testing out some strobe lights yesterday. Okay now. Second towel break of the game. A 4-point lead still for Ma Long. Well, the Dragon has the Dragon on his shirt. There are no scales. This is the older uniform. We've seen him play in for the last several years. Right idea, tries to flip down the middle. the quality of touch. Ma Long leaves it low, middle of the table. Backhand to backhand, Ma Long is going to be tough to beat. 6 game points for Ma Long with the serves on his side. Ooh, inside out flip, a little bit off the top of the net, but still he takes it. 11-4, dominant game 1 for the Dictator. And we'll be back for game 2 right after this. Back for game number 2. Ma Long going down to tie his shoe. But what else would he be sure to do? So Wang Chunting on screen there on the receive. Has to figure out some ways to get Ma Long uncomfortable, to get aggressively in the point. He's trying. One other option is if Ma Long is baseline, to play it short, maybe when he's on the backhand corner, play it short to the forehand side. If he's middle of the table, short to the backhand to set it up. But easier said than done. Ma Long's so quick over the table. So in terms of their history, Wang Chunting has only won 1 game against Ma Long in his career. It was the German Open right here in Bremen in 2015. That was a 4-1 victory for Ma Long. Every other time they've played has been 4-0. Bit of a break here. Wang Chunting working hard, but when Ma Long gets squared back up, that right there is Patrick Franziska's girlfriend, Christian Carlsen's sister. Christian told me that she was actually the stronger player in the family relative to standings by gender. The women's game, she had higher ranking than Christian. Bother me, please. Ma Long says, let me know when I need to show up. I'm just going to wait here in the backhand corner. Hit it as hard as you want, no problem. Move you around a little bit. This is what the Dictator does. He dictates. And occasionally drops the ball before the serve. Anyone who calls him a machine can see some human moments, of course. Nice assertive play, way out wide to the forehand from the middle of the table. Deja vu score from game number 1. Quite similar pattern. Game number 1, it was 4-0 for Ma Long. Wang Chunting got 2 in a row. This time it's the opposite order of play. Right now, Wang Chunting was on the receive in game number 1. This is a good tactic. He's got Ma Long coming in and backing out from the table, so he plays it short. Good opportunity for the attack, but still a lot of pressure. Even on the move, Ma Long keeping it short, keeping it low. Seriously, though, the 2 backhands that Wang Chunting hits are so hard. And then he turns, covers the middle of the body with the forehand, and Ma Long really just seems so relaxed. And a well-placed serve, just dangling it off the edge of the table. inviting an uncomfortable attempt to shut down the third ball attack. We will see. Wang Chunting has had some late performance, say quick pickups in the past. Timo Boll started his match off slow and then picked up some steam against Ma Long. Going a little bit bolder here, taking a bigger shot. Doesn't come down. That felt a little bit like a warm-up for the next match. Okay, now a little bit of side spin introduced. Ma Long attempting, watch from this angle. Takes it a little later, comes over to the left shoulder instead of in front of the forehead. Abbreviated stroke across the body. Oh, that's interesting. Wang Chunting Jiao. People cheering for Wang Chunting in Mandarin in front of Ma Long. How dare you? Well, it seems to have paid off from under the table. A spinny backhand and a follow-up counter forehand after two relatively experimental points from Ma Long. See a little bit of hesitation now. But that was solid placement and a lot of power from Wang Chunting. 3 in a row for the Hong Kong player at the top of the screen. Oh, surprise flip. That hesitation is costing Ma Long. When he's confident, when he's fluid, it seems like his feet are never fully planted. I mean, obviously before he hits, but how he gets there, his speed is uncanny. Absorbs the spin, gives it right back. Just a little bit of motion to counter, extending his lead back to 3 points. Remember, Wang Chunting has only won 1 game against Ma Long's 20. Game record 20-1 for Ma Long. But now 3 game points again for Ma Long. I just had visions of Ma Long serving with his backhand against Timo Boll to finish off a game in the midst of a comeback. Good placement deep to the corner here. Wang Chunting fast enough and deep enough that it shuts down the third ball attack. Third towel break of the game, and Ma Long still with 2 game points. No Gaiao. No Cantonese speakers in the crowd. This goes to show you the Wang Chunting fan club spans far and wide. Nice recovery from Ma Long, from Wang Chunting rather, I think, off the top of the net. Can't even remember who it favored anymore, but Wang Chunting saves another game point. 2 in a row. Guo Jung saving the timeout. I think that's probably the right call. Don't think Ma Long is in too much trouble right now. Or is he? Or is he? Steps around the corner, blasts the ball parallel down the line, and Wang Chunting anticipates and closes it out the other way as he's barely backing up. Big point to make 3 in a row. Still job not done. Simply deuce here in game 2. Oh, very wide serve. We've seen it well handled on the receive before from Wang Chunting. This time it does not come down. Wang Chunting just moving a ball out of play there. Seemed like it was out of play before, but anything that's in vision can be distracting. Especially another ball, for example. Game point back to Ma Long. Oh, long push like a dart. Surprise. That's some crafty play. I don't think I was alone in thinking that Wang Chunting was going to try to keep this short. At the last moment, pen-hold grip with the racket straight forward. Whew, look at this. Fools Ma Long. Another game point saved. That's 4 for Wang Chunting. Back second deuce. Right into the body. Difficult place to cover. It's interesting, the traditional pen-hold game, only using one side of the racket. That shot still wouldn't be easy as it comes up. But Wang Chunting using both sides of the racket as pen holders do in 2018. And after all that pressure, Ma Long back to the drawing board, comfortable in the backhand corner with Wang Chunting away from the table. Controls and takes the game 13 points to 11 for a 2-0 lead. We'll be back, game number 3, right after this. Back for game number 3. Ma Long in form here. Has not let anybody, there we go, take advantage of his table. Still constantly learning English. So from down 7-10, Wang Chunting comes back, saves 4 game points in last game. But anything predictable is going to be tough. Ma Long's so fast, if he knows where you're going, has a decent sense. He gets there and counters with precision. Power for power, Wang Chunting trying to battle. I think he might have to take a little bit off the stroke and come back into the table just a little bit. Easier said than done. Ma Long, a fierce animal on the table. Anywhere near it. Oh, wow. That was just like dodgeball out here for a moment. Pegged with the shot. I think that one would look really cool in slow motion. Wang Chunting jumping out of the way, trying to swing back. Ball already hit him in the body. Clean shots, Ma Long. Just so formulaic. It's amazing how comfortable he is to play so aggressively. Medium backhands. Notice he doesn't have a lot in the backstroke. Turns just a bit and accelerates from already racket, a bit around the knee height, a little bit above. Tough way to win a point. That far back, Ma Long has a lot of time Not as much space to cover. A lot more predictability in the angle. Well, if he doesn't have to use too much energy out here, he's going to have plenty for Xu Xin, assuming Patrick Franziska can't do anything to stop him. Here we go, sneaks one past on the line. A bit more risk on this play. We see this from the top Chinese women when playing each other. They really have to hit the ball right on the line and deep. Chop block and the touch shot. Ma Long running through. It's a casual run by flipping. Who was it? Did anybody catch what he looked like? Can you describe this man? Not outrageously tall, but quite fit and fast, and he's killer on both sides. Sounds dangerous. Be on the lookout. Right off the bounce, that shotgun backhand. It's easy to admire that. To duplicate it, good luck. Eight game points for Ma Long to have a 3-0 lead. So far, Timo Boll has been the best test for Ma Long. 11-2, Wang Chunting looking for some answers. We will see. Game number 4. What's going to come from the dictator? Stay right here to find out. Game number 4, and very little pressure right now on either player, but especially on Ma Long. Up 3-0, looking quite comfortable. Score-wise, though, just to be fair, while Ma Long has held Wang Chunting to 4 points or less in 2/3 of the game so far, Wang Chunting did save 4 game points and play a high deuce. 13-11 in game number 2, relatively high deuce anyway. And a strong start here. There's Superman. Trying to find that middle on the flip. Not a bad idea for placement, but trying to keep it deep on the table. Some head shake out there from Ma Long. Just thinking how easy it would be to lose to Ma Long 11-0. The pressure to make every shot uncomfortably good, something that you're not used to, a completely different quality. Takes a lot, takes an army out here. Several shots in a row. Ma Long counters the first wide forehand. It looks like it's just an out-of-reach shot, something that others might fish back. Ma Long counters it. So a strong start here for the pen holder from Hong Kong, Wang Chunting. Just having a talk last night with some of the table tennis fans about the Chinese players. While they've been at the top of the game, are starting to show some human moments. There have been some victories by opponents here and there, a bit more than usual. Ooh, break off the top of the net. Ma Long having lost last year twice to foreigners. Very rare. Once to Jung Sung-un, once to Timo Boll. Granted, the Jung Sung-un loss was not part of the World Tour and was a best out of 5, but still, they've played close before. Some serious footwork from Ma Long, leaping back into the middle of the table, but perfect placement. Again, persistent play from Wang Chunting. Hangs on to the lead, gets back out in front by 1 point. People applauding the ball girl on that. It was in that in-between, sort of the middle for the ball girl. Do I go for it? Do I let it stay? This is something relatively new for table tennis on the World Tour. The ball boys and girls, the ball people, as they like to be called, to keep it PC. Power. Rarely is it enough power to bother Ma Long, but it's also deep to the backhand. Wang Chunting putting in that extra few percent here. Soft spin. There's the power. Notice he doesn't lose his balance. This is one of the most amazing things about this sport at this level. Rushes forward, extending out to reach that spot to quickly get it past Ma Long on the short side of the table. There's the spin. Really has to reach forward, jumping to replant his feet, keeping his balance. Ooh, softer spinny one. Looked like it would be something you'd really need to close on. Ma Long over closing there. Let's serve. They'll play that again. Interesting, interesting. If the percentages worked out this way for Timo yesterday, I think he would have taken the game, game 4. Backhand serves were successful for Ma Long in the midst of his comeback. What, 7 straight points from down 4-9? Forgetting some of the details, I just remember 9-4 and 10-5. Of course, the last game, 17-15. Still a 2-point lead. We're going to see a timeout here. Yes, we will. Wang Chunting in the corner. Chan Konghua. 2 points out in front. You've been aggressive. You played the short game well. I think the specifics are important. Table tennis has a lot to do with decision making. It's interesting. You can see Chan Konghua clearly a bit senior to Wang Chunting, but still quite fast in his movement. Really so fast. I think the energy he keeps right now. Partially, I think that's the person he is, but it's how he's going to motivate Wang Chunting. He wants him to be high energy right now. He wants him to play aggressive, put in that extra 10%, whatever it takes, to beat Ma Long to the spot where he can't reach. Lu Guozheng, man, a few words for that timeout. Quick thought or two for Ma Long. Now Lu Guozheng, under pressure, knows what it's like. Again, 2001 World Team Championships, China versus Korea. Lu Guozheng is your man. Backhand serve again for Ma Long. Felt like a lot more recently that Ma Long had served with his backhand. It pays off here, ties it up. 2 points in a row right out of the timeout for Wang Chunting. Typically, the person who has the timeout should be at the advantage. After all, the coach is typically the person who called the timeout, had a specific idea, something that they felt would save their player. Wang Chunting looking to take this game and equal his best score against Ma Long. Right down the middle, plays it aggressively, the shortest shot on the table. Risky, but it pays off. If he goes to either wing, chances are good Ma Long counters. Ooh, and it comes up the top edge of the table. Wang Chunting, what a rundown. This is one of very few ways to win a point against Ma Long, at least out here so far. But Wang Chunting takes 11 in this game alone. 11-9 over Ma Long, and we'll be back. Game number 5 coming up right after this. Back for game number 5. Wang Chunting already tying his best score against Ma Long. Only once before has he ever taken a game, and it finished with a net and an edge in the same point to take it. This one a bit more shallow on the table. The bounce leaves it out in front of Ma Long. Beautiful forehand flip. Now, the penhold game, I've talked about how it's more wristy. You have more flexibility in the wrist. It's better for the over-the-table game. We see forehands on the backhand side, those flip kills from Xu Xin all the time in doubles and even in singles. Wang Chunting pulling one off here. Wow. Every shot for broke. Down the line, backhand, placement and speed, and then from the middle to the middle, across the body. This is what it took from Jun Mizutani to get 10-4 against Xu Xin a few years back. Playing out of the comfort zone, aggressive on every ball you can. Break off the net once again. 4 straight points for Wang Chunting. Now, unless Ma Long gets nervous, loses some confidence, he seems pretty unbeatable. Right idea there. Oh, look at that. Good shot right over to the ball girl. Now, right now, Ma Long having a little bit of trouble in this game. Wang Chunting has turned it up a bit. I think he's a bit more decisive, playing a bit more brave here. A bit more clear on maybe what is necessary. The type of reminders he needs to give himself before every shot to be specific as can be. Again, this is something that T-Mobile learned more and more with time. Looked away for a second. Did the ball throw go past him? Right into the middle. Not sure what the apology was for, but Wong Chunting with a crisp shot. See it again from this angle. Sometimes it's just too fast to know the backhand serve is back. Wong Chunting has done an excellent job of keeping it low and relatively short. Half long on the push game for the backhand serve of Ma Long. Wow. We've seen the apology hand up quite a bit from Wong Chunting, but score-wise, this seems very unlikely. He's been beaten 11-4 and 11-2. At a deuce game, managed to pull out the last one, 11-9. Oh, good opportunity here. You can understand the body language in that moment. 8-2 for Ma Long seems quite possible to be down and come back. Sticking with the backhand serve. Oh, nice! From the middle, short backswing goes the opposite way. I'm a little surprised with the success we've seen from Wong Chunting that Ma Long is insisting on the backhand serves. Swatting backhand. The way he slapped at that looked like the way a pen holder does when they turn to shake hands. 8 game points. Ma Long looks like he's already in game number 6. 7 game points left for Wong Chunting. And while he might look like he's relaxing for a bit, and still could be, he's definitely still a strong threat. Soft spin ball from the back of the table. Opening backhand out wide to the forehand side. And there it is, Wong Chunting, 11-4 over Ma Long. Takes his second game in a row, still a ways to go. But you have to imagine, with the tactics changed, the more aggressive, specific Wong Chunting putting some serious pressure on the Dragon, Ma Long. So we will be back, game number 6, little time to think. Now back for game number 6. Rockadino there in the crowd. A prehistoric mascot, has seen table tennis since before man was roaming the earth. I just imagined that for a moment. So Ma Long cleaning the floor. Clean start on the scoreboard. After losing the last game 11-4, takes the first point on his serve. He's back to the pendulum serves. Look at that. Serious kick on that second bounce. Jumps out. Wong Chunting missing the contact. Fastest ball girl yet. Beats Ma Long to the ball. Granted, he was walking, she was running. So I wouldn't say she's faster than Ma Long. Assertive play again. Taking some risk here, Wong Chunting. In some sense, it's a much bigger risk to not take risk. Again, if you're the underdog, playing your typical game, your average game, pretty much secures and cements the chances that you will lose. Right down the line. Nice aggression again. A little bit off the top of the net, I assume. Yeah, there we go. Just a shot before to set it up, break the rhythm of Ma Long. Not a bad start, but when you're that far behind the table, it's going to be tough. We saw the approval, though, from the coach. Chang Konghua saying, yes, that's right. Moving well. Playing different angles on the table. One deep to the backhand, one cross court. Second time we've seen that backhand come into the net from a little bit behind the table. The start of the point is good, and I think the drive, just the idea here for Wong Chunting, he's got the right tactics. Seems focused on what he needs to do. Now, I didn't make a huge deal out of it, but this is the best Wong Chunting has ever done against Ma Long. This is his best result, the only time he's taken more than a game in his life. Leaning back still, plays it down the line, manages to keep some speed on. From the president of ITTF to ETTU to German table tennis. Watching in the crowd. Tough to keep it short time and time again, especially if you get in a little bit late. Ma Long checking in there. How do you like my surprise? There it is, that last one. It's snappy. I think it has to be. It's about 100% from Wong Chunting. In terms of rushing shots. Just one more time. Still some good topspin. You could see the arc on the ball. Rarely is it fast enough and deep enough to bother Ma Long. That's trouble. That one sits up a little bit, and Ma Long gets a clean swing over the table. From this angle, you'll have a chance to see. Yeah. If you keep that down about half that height, Ma Long's going to have to get into the short game once again. We saw Ma Long struggling, looking for flip opportunities. Nice, it pays off. He moves it into the middle of the table. Those two backhands, Ma Long gets one shot more in this rally than he had been for a bit. Wong Chunting back cross court. And here he chooses to play it a little bit more inside the table. Sounded like, please proceed with the match. No stalling. Soft touch, Ma Long receives that so well. Looked like side topspin to keep it short. Not easy to do. Second towel break of the game. Ma Long leading by 2. This has become a much more, well, contested match than I expected, especially from the start. Oh, that's a tough one. Tries to take the forehand inside out from around the backhand side of the table. But you know what? I think it's a better decision than trying to play soft. Didn't work out that time, but he has to go for it. Has to take some chances here. Power on the second. Spinny on the first, speed on the second. Two important serves here, a chance to tie up the score. And the timeout, I was wondering if we'd see it after this next point. I thought it might be saved for 8-7 if it came to be. Well, we will see. The DJ's been outstanding for this tournament. Ma Long in the corner with Liu Guozheng. Very different body language, quite interesting to see. I like it, from the bottle cap in the hand to the hand on the hip, and then the right hand moving fast as usual. Seems like there needs to be a lot of aggression here. It's quite one-way conversation, as typically they are in the corner with coaches. You have someone with a lot of experience and a lot of ideas for you. Interestingly enough, this was the timeout for Ma Long. Thomas Weikart there, ITTF president. Staying friends with all in the crowd, greeting, taking care of business. It is a good question. How would you sleep while your beds are burning? Literally, that would be very difficult to do. You'd have to be a really deep sleeper. I hear someone breathe and I'm awake. My brother slept through the biggest earthquake of our lives. Here we go. Speaking of earthquakes, we'll see if Ma Long can shake things up or if it's Chunting. Oh, and he goes for broke on the last shot, saving one. The crowd couldn't believe. Really a spectacular point. One of the best of the match so far. And there might not be a lot of the match left, but that is a huge point for Ma Long to gain some confidence out of the timeout. It was the counter out wide to the forehand that tested the footwork. Close but no cigar. Over the table, that wide angle, using the penhold grip effectively over the table. Watch one more time. Right at the back of the table, has to get that right foot right in under. So back within two. Oh, the other way. Ma Long turns early and pays for it. You know what they say about assuming. Well, Ma Long, not one to be criticized, but takes a chance here. After all, the same play won him the World Championship in Dusseldorf against Fan Zhendong at deuce in Game 7. One more point to tie it up here. Focused as ever on the receive, Chunting. Saved by the net. Oh, tries to cover the middle. Clever idea. Chunting realizes if he goes cross-court into the backhand corner, Ma Long is waiting there with a dangerous third ball, so he plays it to the middle of the table. Ma Long still able to cover with that reach and play it back into the body of Chunting. And the slow clap starts quite quickly. 2 match points for Ma Long to move on to the men's singles final. Incredible rally! Jumping on both wings. This is the consistent backhand that makes Chunting the best reverse penhold backhand in the game right now. Under pressure, battles power for power with Ma Long on the run. I talked to you yesterday about his footwork. Demonstrates that perfectly out here. One more match point saved. Maybe one match point saved, one to go. Interesting, the screen has it as Ma Long's serve right here. Oh, the angle wide, and he takes it 11-9 in Game 6. Ma Long survives against Chunting. What an escape. And what pressure, respect for Wong Chunting. The world is coming up. Ma Long does not seem to be slowing down, but the rest of the gang seems to be improving. Best performance we've seen from Wong Chunting yet. And good handshakes all around. Ma Long will have a little time to rest in between now and when he plays the winner of Patrick Franziska, the last German hope, versus Shushin the Cloudwalker, which is coming up right after this. We'll have an interview in a bit on court with Johnny Cowan and Ma Long. Stick around. You're watching the 2018 World Tour Platinum German Open.